Okay, I'm hoping this works.
I think it's too far down, man.
No, it has a wide angle shot, basically. Or wait, I'm not in the shot. Oh, hold on, let me just back her up a bit.
Yeah, because it was a little bit too close.
There we go. Okie dokie then. Okay, now we're in the shot. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am AirsoftAl. Sorry for adjusting you. Not literally adjusting you. You get what I'm saying. This here is my good friend Trey, and we are
trying to upload another video because it's about the 8th time that we've tried to do a video together.
Yeah. We were both born in the 90s, I think, right?
Yeah, I was born in 95.
I was born in 94. So we got the tail end of the 90s. We still remember it a good. We even got the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So let me just go ahead and say this now to you later generations who were born in 05.
Your TV sucks.
You don't know shit about the 90s.
Nope. Because let's just say this, the 90s, TV was awesome, lifestyle, not so much.
No. The mullet. Ugh, the mullet. I just...
Yep.
That's a redneck version of Elvis right there.
It's Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah. And you don't know nothing about the early 2000s. I mean, hell, I was there. We were both there in 99 when Y2K went down, the scare for it. And where were you when that happened?
Well, right when the counters went over, I was in 18-wheeler with my dad heading up to New York.
Me, I was here in my house, scared out of my mind because my family members, one side was saying nothing's going to happen, and the other one's fucking drinking their head off saying, it's going to happen, the end of the world's coming.
Well, that's kind of like us, because my dad didn't care. He was trying to make money. My uncles were drunk at home because they're alcoholics.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
one is. The other one was just drinking with them.
Oh, yeah. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some TV shows from our time and then ones that can compare to it. The TV shows I remember watching was Batman, the animated series. Not the second series where they started doing the Superman animated series animation. The first series. And then Superman, the animated series, which I liked. That was like my first actual dark... Okay, Batman was my first dark TV series, and then Superman was like my first mature innuendo sexual series, because good God, the porn on it. Good fucking God.
My first dark series was Gundam.
Oh God, yes.
Because you got to admit, it was dark.
Yes, it was. Well, now which one? Gundam Wing? Or, no wait, Gundam Wing has that annoying little bitch because there's so much yaoi on it, nobody wants to date the bitch.
Yep.
That's another video for another day. We'll talk about our animes. But we're talking about cartoon, as in the silly, Bugs Bunny, what have you. Though even now, cartoon animation is getting slightly better.
It seems like towards 2005 all the way up to 10, they kind of took a step back.
Yeah, and then...
Like Adventure Time, there's nothing really innovative about that.
No, not really. Now, I'm going to name off 3 cartoon series I've seen, and you can agree with us or not. In my opinion, I believe, now this is from now until 05, okay?
Yeah.
Now until 05. Camp Lazlo, trying to think exactly which one, Steven Universe from now, and Legend of Korra. And then Avatar in general. Just in general. So let's go ahead and tackle the one that we all know is childish as almighty hell.
Camp
Lazlo. Let's go ahead and tackle the premise. The premise was summer camp.
Yes. So you see, first episode, Lazlo wakes up and there's Camp Yahoo on top of him. I'm sorry, I had to do that.
Okay, let's just go ahead and say it now. Camp Lazlo, from the beginning to the very end, was nothing but summer camp.
Yes.
And me personally, being a Boy Scout and Eagle Scout, I've been to summer camp. I believe you've been to summer camp too?
No.
Summer camp is probably the best time you can have as a child because you're away from your parents. Okay, I wasn't. My mother was the camp nurse. You had friends. You had wacky adventures. I remember one time a guy had his nipple bit off by a fish.
What type of fish?
Big mouth bass. You don't want to know.
No, I think I want to. We got to talk about that after this video.
Yes, we do. And then finally, what Camp Lazlo does is it takes that premise and just throws crazy, wacky stuff in there, and I can relate to it.
Like, who actually had... Laszlo in this show is about, what, 10, 11?
Roughly 10 years old, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say this, a lot of the stuff that they let them do is questionable. No, not questionable, just stupid.
Yeah. And then, the counselors. Okay,
why is there only 2 counselors, by the way?
I can actually relate to this. When I was a Cub Scout going my first summer camp, it was like a small farm, basically, and there was only 2 counselors, and that was the that was like the head of the camp's sons, basically. That's what they were. And even then, I can relate, because the summer camp I went to, Camp Yakna, the head guy there just didn't give a damn. He didn't want to be there, he didn't want to do anything. I can relate to that, and yes, that's actually true in real life. Sligman is that guy who's always on top, who's always on schedule, who's always...
He's the yes man.
Yes, and those do exist at summer camp in the Boy Scout organization, because I was one of them once.
Heck, they exist everywhere.
Oh, God, yes, little kiss asses. Now, a big thing about it is that it's not humans. And for those of you who don't know about Camp Laszlo, it's anthropomorphic furries, just like SWAT cats. Now, that's something we need to touch on from the 90s, and hear me out.
I'm not touching it.
Oh, you bastard.
You can do that by yourself.
Oh, you pervert bastard. Camp Laszlo had a cartoonish look that was similar to, what, Clifford, I think? Like,
I would put the animation about Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah, like, what, early Scooby-Doo or later? Like,
early.
90s? Okay, early 60s animation. Which kind of works and fails in its own right.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of ends on a weird note of,
hey, your summer camp is getting shut down because they're technically not part of the Bean Scouts. And later on, it's like, no, I ain't going to shut your camp down. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? It's still technically getting sued.
Yeah.
It's not up to you whether you've shut down the camp or not.
Yeah,
it's up to...
And this is what's bad, is that the Bean Scouts are being represented as the Boy Scouts, and the Girl Scouts, which... What the hell were they again?
Squirrel Scouts.
The Squirrel Scouts are being represented as the Girl Scouts. And what's sad is that the Boy Scout organization actually tried suing Camp Laszlo because of representation.
Yep. And well, it's better than some of the stuff like I started out with that's been floating around.
Oh, God. Okay, now, comparing that to the past, SWAT Cats, same premise, but completely different, because SWAT Cats...
Well, same thing as they're all animals.
Yeah.
Not same premise as...
No, not summer camp.
No.
Oh, God. Now I remember that freaking American Pie thing of this one time at...
Shush. We ain't talking about American Pie.
Oh, my... But yeah, SWAT Cats was an amazing show because anyone who had any kind of aviation loved the Turbo Cat. Because it looked like a mix between F-16 and an F-22 Raptor.
I will say this, it is better than Biker Mice from Mars. That did come out from the same company.
God! Hated that series. That's going to be another video for another time, a video of shows we hate from the 90s. But comparing Laszlo to SWAT Cats had to have been the best TV series of, anthropomorphic animals, fighter jets, monsters, explosions, badass gadgets. And the sheer fact that show actually wanted me to join the Air Force. Seriously, because of the Turbo Cat, I wanted to join the Air Force.
Do you still want to?
Hell no! Those guys are a bunch of dicks.
That's what I thought.
Now, second show, Steven Universe.
Okay, for any guy out there that likes really golly stuff, this is really girly.
To a degree. To a degree. On the surface, it looks girly. Now, when you actually break down into it, it's actually sort of relatable.
Sad.
Yeah, it really is, because
here's the actual story of it.
Yeah.
This is the backstory before Steven was born.
Yeah.
Rose, Amphis, Quartz, and Pearl waged war on their home planet because they were planning on taking over the galaxy. But somewhere on that war, they were able to win at heavy casualties, so they moved to Earth to try to get away from it, and they broke the teleporters. And along that way, they stayed on the planet for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of thousands, actually.
Yeah, whatever. And pretty much Rose fell in love with this musician that traveled around in his van.
And made one of the arguably best songs ever made about singing ballads from the heart. Which was Let Me Drive My Van Into Your Heart, which...
Let me drive my bullet into your head.
Now hold up,
It is not that. It's
now
not
hold
good.
up. When you're looking at it from a practical musician point of view, no, it's not that good. Now, when you're looking at it from a love point of view, I mean, come on, let's all say it now. We've all one time or another wrote a song for the one we loved and then sang it, and we were dumb about it. And
no.
Yeah, we both probably haven't found any loves. No, but still, we know people.
No, I'm pretty much a cold-hearted bastard.
Me, I haven't found one yet, but we all know people who have done that. I personally know a guy who actually, in band, played his saxophone from the heart to his girlfriend, and they are about to get married today. So, about to get married this year. So, yeah, it's kind of good. Now, the story itself is pretty sad because there's no mama for Steven.
No, it's kind of like anybody that remembers Angel, they had to do the same shit.
Yeah, that's...
She had to give up her life so Steven could be born. Because she's technically not a physical being, just one made up of pure energy.
Yeah. Now, it's really
Which
sad.
technically wouldn't Steven be made up of pure energy as well?
He's half and half. It's explained in this series that he's half human, half energy, and apparently his emotions...
It pretty much his power isn't as stable as the others.
Yes. Now, what's really sad and relatable about this is there are actual kids out there who have no moms.
Nope. Dad's too busy and doesn't really have a place to live, and so you're having to live with your grandparents, aunts, uncles.
And in this case, Steven has 3 moms. And this is where people have gotten this idea from, lesbian parents. And that's...
I really want to say that they're lesbians.
No, and that's not the case. The actual true case is that there are true cases where children have been found with 3 mother figures and 1 father figure.
Yep.
This is true. This is actual truth. And this can be found in not only the foster system, this can not only be found in, like, everywhere, okay? This is being based on real facts of life. So before any of you blow up on us saying, oh, you don't know Steven Universe,
We have watched it.
Yes.
We have... Hell, I've seen the entire series so
yeah,
far.
I'm still watching it, but what you people don't know is the actual facts of life.
Yep.
Because, I'll tell you this now, being an army brat, I had my mother half the time because my father was other half deployed, okay?
Yep.
So you try raising
And
that.
my dad was a truck driver. I've barely seen him maybe once a week, if that.
Yeah, so when we watch this show, we're not watching it because of the girly, because of the cleavage, if you can even call that.
No.
We're watching it because we can relate to it.
I kind of started watching it because there was nothing else on.
Well, I can relate to it, technically. And then later on, I hate to say it, but the only other TV series from the 90s that we can relate to is, that can be related to this, is...
Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
Because he did not have a father.
No.
Father ran out on him as a kid, so that's why he's taking all this macho man bullshit from all these movies and TV shows.
Yeah, and the sad part is that it's true also, because once again, we could relate to it, and a lot of people can relate to Johnny Bravo, because that is kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And then we have that hipster mom that is, honestly, could consider...
Trying to slow down.
Yeah. You know,
But she does work all the time. And
yes. And so, if you had to ask us which of the shows are better, in my opinion, I believe on a relatable level,
probably Steven.
Yeah, Steven does kind of go through more changes. He's going through changes.
Because Johnny Bravo didn't really learn from his mistakes or anything else.
No.
He was pretty much the dumbass blonde.
Yeah. And then another thing I forgot to touch on was the crystals, the gems themselves. They are the 3 stereotype moms.
Although, it does... One thing that is obvious that they do take stuff like the fusion and all that from all these different sources.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious. But the overall general of it, it's good. It really is.
Song needs some work.
Yeah, Yeah, but to say the least, Steven Universe should probably deserve not just a graphical upgrade, but just...
I didn't like the fact the lion was pink.
I kind of questioned about the lion. Is the lion like that?
Is it a girl?
I think it is. I don't know.
Actually, I once had a theory that the lion was actually Rose's, what was left over from Rose, because she had all that stuff in him.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Because
because
it keeps eye on Steven whenever the gems are not around.
Yeah, and then the emotional episode where he finds the tape. I forgot to touch on this too. The big thing that finally sold home that, I can relate to him is when he finds a tape from his mother.
Yep.
That I hate. This is very subtle for me, and very hard sometimes. Is that a cartoon show or any kind of animated feature could make a man cry, and I can relate to this episode because I think everyone can relate to, having a loved one that they lost. And let's all agree that, this episode really did touch a nerve in us that very suddenly very not often happens. So, Steven Universe, better than the shows from the 90s, in my opinion.
Some shows.
Well, some. Not as good as Batman or Superman.
No.
Batman and Superman. Kick-ass.
I don't know, I like the Hulk from the 90s.
Yeah, the Hulk from the 90s was pretty good.
Up until they started getting to the Mr. Fix and that stuff. Dear God.
Oh my goodness. Now, I also figured this, I remember this now, Baby Doll. The Baby Doll episode from the original Batman series.
Oh, yeah.
That is just on the same levels as the Steven Universe episode because it's just as sad as impactful.
But anyway, let's move on to the next series because it's kind of dragging on.
Yes. Legend of Korra and the Avatar series in general. Now, before we go...
Yes, they did take stuff from Naruto. Yes, they did.
Yes, but let's go ahead and let our fanboy know. This series is awesome!
Except for Aang is kind of a pussy.
Well, he's a monk, and a lot of...
He's not even a monk, because if he was a monk, he wouldn't have got married. Or had kids.
Different standards, okay? Different standards.
No. Also, monks were willing to actually kill to protect themselves.
Yeah. I mean, he may be a